The story is long and complex, like my life. What can I say? I was born in the year of the dragon. TLDR, I've got 9 days to succeed at joining the Yogscast or I'm quitting YouTube. Of course, it's not that simple. Would I reject an offer to join the Yogscast if it comes sometime after that? Hell no. What if suddenly some of my old videos start getting views? Would I unquit? Maybe. Also, what's with all these artificial deadlines? If you actually want to know the answers to these questions, don't touch that dial. 10 years ago, I decided to try and beat Earthworm Jim. First, I beat it on an emulator, then I thought maybe I should make a video out of it. So I got myself a Sega Genesis and borrowed a copy, and found I had previously beat the PAL version of Earthworm Jim that runs at 5/6 the speed. The US version of Earthworm Jim was considerably harder, and I borrowed it for a lot longer than I had intended. But eventually, I beat it, and I put videos of that up on YouTube. I didn't really care if anyone watched them, but from that point on, I always kind of had my eye out for other videos that people might want to watch. When the city started complaining about loose wood in my yard, I made a video about that. When a tornado knocked down almost all the trees in our neighborhood and damaged quite a few houses, I made a video about that. When they knocked down the house next door, I made a video of that. I was also interested in writing video games, but I ran into a big problem. I could write all the video games I wanted, but no one was playing them. And not because they were bad, because no one knew they existed. If I was going to write video games, or engage really in any artistic endeavor, I needed people to know who I was. I needed fans. I saw people making fans hand over fist on YouTube, so I turned my attention back to my YouTube channel. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, and occasionally I needed some information on how to play, especially once mods were involved. I found some tutorials online, but every single one just put me to sleep, often before I even managed to find out the thing I needed to know, till I found Duncan and Kim. They played the game like I did. They made the kind of mistakes that people who play games make, and found stuff out that people who played games wanted to know, and they had fun doing it, and were really funny as well. By this point, I had devoured basically all the videos they had made, and then they stopped making videos together. And so I started, and eventually my wife joined me in the videos, though there was definitely a misunderstanding there. I thought she joined me because she actually wanted to be in the videos, though she had told me before she didn't. I thought she had changed her mind. But no, she had just started being in the videos anyway, without actually changing her mind. Oh boy, did this lead to a lot of confusion over the course of the next 6 years and 4 Minecraft series. Anyhow, when I started these videos, I didn't have a job. I knew how to live pretty cheaply without being a drain on those around me. People said, don't make YouTube your career, but I figured I was a grown-ass adult and smarter and harder working than most people I knew, and it wasn't like people were banging on my door trying to hire me to do anything else. I might not get paid, but in the end, at the very least, I'd have the videos I had made, and surely if I just kept at it, eventually I'd succeed, but also I saw how the goalposts were already starting to be moved. If I was going to succeed, I was going to have to define my own measure of success, because otherwise nothing short of being the next PewDiePie would ever seem like success, and I knew that wasn't likely to happen. At the time, Duncan and Kim's videos were getting millions of views each. I set my sights on 10,000 views a video. That seemed reasonable. If I hadn't achieved that after 3 years, I'd stop. And notice that was 6 years ago, and I haven't exactly stopped yet, but all that means is that for the last 3 years, this channel's been living on borrowed time. I've tried not to get all in your face about it, because who wants to watch that? Basically, after 3 years, my videos were getting more like 10 views each. And my response to that was, okay, the problem is not the videos. It's the same problem I had writing video games. It's not that the videos are bad. It's that no one knows they exist. I'm not getting loads of dislikes or negative comments. I'm getting nothing. No response whatsoever. If the videos were bad, I'd be getting criticism, suggestions, things I could work with, consider changing, find out how much they'd cost, etc. I could quit YouTube, sure, but it wasn't going to solve this no one knows I exist problem, and so I kept at it. And all this time I was hearing through the grapevine that the only way to continue to succeed at YouTube was to double down on it. Get better equipment. Keep getting better equipment. Add more bangs and whistles to your videos. Post a video every day. Stream live a couple times a week in addition to the video. Build your own recording studio. And I doubled down and I doubled down and I doubled down. I didn't do all those things. After all, I couldn't afford to become a drain on those around me who were only supporting me so long as it was easy and cheap. But by 2019, I was working 60 hours a week at a job that paid nothing at all. And it had to stop. I want to have a family. I want to fix up the house. My wife wanted an opportunity to pursue her own creative goals, and she needed to stop getting dragged into my project so she could work on her own. And so I proposed a solution, a Hail Mary that if it didn't save the channel, I'd give it up. And this was it. We would travel to Bristol in the UK together in December 2019. I would volunteer to help out at the place Duncan and Kim worked, the Yogscast, who would be doing their yearly charity drive, and surely would have something a smart, hard-working person who knows how to make Minecraft videos could do. Sarah would help me for a time. She had her own reasons for being in Bristol, some of which I shared. We wanted to learn some new sea shanties, we wanted to see some amazing street art, and she had recently joined a druidic order based in Glastonbury and had been invited to be at Stonehenge for the winter solstice. Then she'd head home, because she's the sort of person who doesn't feel right not spending Christmas at home, and I'd have 5 more months before my visa ran out to get in with the folks of the Yogscast. And if I managed it, well then I'd consider the channel saved. We crunched the numbers, my parents stepped in with some monetary help, and we could afford it. We might have put off having a kid a little longer than we had hoped, but it could work. I can't say I was making much headway by March 2020, but we all know what happened then. No one was about to hang out with anyone. Even if I had made some real friends at the Yogscast, we weren't going to be going for drinks or making videos at Yog Towers. None of the things I'd come here for seemed at all likely to happen anymore. I ended up just making videos and doing streams like I would have at home, only fewer of them, and I was paying £30 a night for the privilege of doing it from an Airbnb. But had I failed? I hadn't really had a chance to try, so before I headed home, my wife and I agreed that if I stopped doubling down on the YouTube channel, we'd try it again when the pandemic was over. But this time, no do-overs, not even if Yog Towers gets destroyed by a meteor. When my visa's up, I'm going home, and unless I'm in the Yogscast, the YouTube/Twitch/gaming/video streaming thing gets permanently bumped off the #1 spot on Gabe's to-do list. And so in November 2021, I came back to Bristol. The pandemic wasn't quite over. Hell, maybe it'll never be over, but we had to pick a time, and that's the time we picked. It still managed to interfere with my ambitions. There was still at least a month during which no one was interested in meeting anyone new, and the Airbnbs hadn't really all opened up again. Housing was tight. I kept having to move around, tear down my equipment, and pack it in suitcases, and move it somewhere else, and set it all up again. I could have paid £100 a night to stay in a hotel, I suppose. But frankly, by the time I was that desperate, I had come up with a workable solution. And then one of my teeth went rotten and had to be extracted, but of course they couldn't do it for a month because all the dentists were flooded with folks who put off their dental work until the pandemic was over, and it hurt really bad. And also the Olympics were on, and I watched them ever since I was a kid, and a dozen other inconvenient things conspired to make me waste a great deal of the time I had intended to spend organically drifting closer and closer to the various members of the Yogscast. I now have 9 days left, and all I've managed to do is a couple support streams during the Jingle Jam, which maybe someone noticed. I don't know if anyone was actually paying attention. I also got to give Angry Tom a model of the Willis Tower, for which I received a hearty hug. If the Yogscast were the Mafia, I'd be a made man, but they're not. They're a bunch of friends who like having fun playing games together live and recorded on the internet, and that's exactly what I want to do too. I've been making that sausage myself for years now. I know how it's made, and I don't mind making it. It reminds me of the friends I used to play games with back in college. But we just drifted apart. Most of them have successful careers of one kind or another these days. Somehow it's never quite worked out for me. I have 9 days left to try and turn that around. Now, it's easy to look at this situation and say that it's unfair, but that's why I told you the whole story. It may seem unfair to me, or to you, but to everyone else in my life, it's the only thing left that's fair. It's easy to look back and say I should have done this or not done that, but none of that is even relevant now. It's time for me to do, or die. Still trying to figure out what do means in this case, even though I've only got 9 days left, but at least I can tell you what die means. A couple of folks' videos I like to watch quit YouTube over the last few years. Of the Yogscast, Simon, Kim, and Zoe quit for quite a while. Sieve Gaming hasn't posted in 10 months. Green Dean took several years off. It was never a good decision as far as I can tell. They've all lost ground. You can't turn your back on your fans and expect them to all still be there when you turn around again. I mean, I was there for the channels I watched, but that was me. I know what I would want in a fan, and I try to be that fan when I can. 60 hours a week made that kind of hard, I have to say. Anyhow, things aren't looking good. I'm getting to the point where the only things I can think of to try are as likely to get me arrested as into the Yogscast. So I've had several nice long thinks about what die looks like. I could say I'll only make another video if I could get to 1,000 subscribers. Currently the point where YouTube lets you use community polls, which are apparently overpowered as all hell as far as advertising your channel for free. But all that could change any time. That's the way YouTube works. I'm not going to measure my success by the goalposts they keep moving. My goal from the beginning was 10,000 views a video. If I can't get into the Yogscast, I'm making that mandatory. What does that mean? Every time the channel gets 10,000 more views, I'll make another video. And if it never does, no more videos. Now, there are some series, not very many anymore, that I still intend to finish, 10K views or not, but I'm not going to push myself to finish a video a day anymore, not even when I'm back on my comfortable brown editing couch in Minnesota. Same goes for Twitch. There are some games I intend to finish on stream, so I will. And after that, well, I've got all these videos, and I know how to stream them to Twitch. So yeah, as long as our bandwidth allows it, the Twitch channel will be reruns from then on. I mean, why not? I might also manage to do that yearly 24-hour XCOM stream that hasn't managed to happen the last several years. But that's it. That's what die looks like. I've carried the future of this channel in my hands for the last 6 years, and I need those hands for other things now. The future of this channel is no longer in my hands. It's in your hands now. The hands of the Yogscast, should they choose to accept me. And that's my first, and probably my last, channel update, ever. Bye for now.